It may be WrestleMania season, but let me tell you what, AEW, just as much as the road to WrestleMania, they are heating up. And I'm here for it. And it's going to be awesome the next few months of wrestling. So let's take a look at the way that they have become such a freaking hot show in a matter of just a couple of weeks. First, Will Ospreay gets there. Will Ospreay at Revolution with Konosuke Takeshita. Hands down, I don't care what happened in January. I don't care what happened in February. They set the bar for this year for Match of the Year. It's been set. That's what you have to compete with. Takeshita, Ospreay, Revolution. Dynamite after Revolution, Okada shows up. Not only does Okada show up, Okada turns heel. I don't know. Other people seemed like they were shocked by it. As he was coming down the ramp, I was like, he's wearing a really nice suit and he's not in a rush. He's going to turn. No, it's right. But other people, I've seen people freaking out over it. Next week. Oh, sorry. First, Okada also had a match that weekend on TV. So he's already debuted and had a match. Now, next week, Dynamite. Likely, all but almost guaranteed, Mercedes Moné, AEW. Week after that on Dynamite, the I Quit match between Edge and Christian Cage. They have lined up the 3 Dynamites that happened after Revolution, which was, as a lot of people are saying, their favorite pay-per-view of AEW of all time. And then they followed up with what looks to be 3 straight Fire Dynamites, kicking on all cylinders. Tell me, have they missed on anything hard for you? Or has it just been all roses?
Um, it's it is pretty much all roses. Life isn't all sunshine and roses. The only thing that isn't sunshine and roses for me right now, we've talked about it before. Go away, Chris Jericho. Um, but other than that, man, AEW is on fire. I just hope they give that man a break or something. But the women's division is coming up. They're featuring different people. They're starting to feature tag teams more again.
As FTR said on
It's
Collision, they said Collision was built on the back of tag team wrestling, and it's time to get back to it. AEW was built on the back of tag team wrestling. It's time to get back to it.
it is. That tag team tournament is gonna rock. Oh, it's gonna rock my socks off, all the way off.
Now,
Like,
when I say all roses, of course, not every show is perfect. It's not going to be straight 2 hours, 1 hour, depending on what show you're watching, of pure fire. There's going to be slight lulls in the show. But when you look at the show at the end of the day and you can say, like, oh, there's only one segment that I could do without, that's an outstanding freaking wrestling show by any measure. Nobody's going to hit out of the park 100%.
absolutely, absolutely. Revolution is. I told you, Revolution, my favorite pay per view of all time, and it wasn't perfect, but that's about the best we get there. Like, nothing's perfect. Uh, it's only going to be perfect if I do it in my head.
I looked back at some lists of what has been considered AEW's top 10 pay-per-views. And I'm sitting there looking at a lot of like the top 5 and everything. I go back and I look at their card, and there's always like 2 or 3 matches. I'm like, oh yeah, I remember that was phenomenal. Like you get those matches that you remember being great. The Iron Man match that I'll never watch again, but I know it's the best Iron Man match I ever watched. The Four Pillars match was very unique and very different. But then I look through some of these, like the rest of the cards, and there's a bunch of things I'm like, I don't remember squat about that one. I don't remember
Yep.
squat about that one. And I feel like there was less of that with Revolution than there has been with most of these other cards.
Revolution was super memorable for me, and they're just keeping up with the momentum right after that show. Just
Just yeah, even Fletcher versus Osprey on Dynamite was way
and
more
that
than I
was
expected.
that. Yeah, I'm that, that yeah, that was a best match on your pay-per-view kind of match on TV. Ju- And this is what we're about to be getting weekly with Will Ospreay. I'm just I'm salivating. Oh
So
man,
much talent coming in that can put on amazing match after amazing match, or in the words of my Irish brethren over in the other company, banger after banger after banger.
after bag. And then we're about to get money. Uh, no, Mercedes Monet next week, bro, or in a few days.
Mm-hmm.
Mercedes Monet.
No, I
You
will
don't want to be
say,
near me when I see her pop on the screen.
thankfully, one of those other pay per views that was listed like one of the best AEW has ever done, we were there for, which was last year's
That was
All
last year's
Out,
All Out.
which was
That show was
overall like card wise, like it was very good. It's just because everything that happened with All In right beforehand, like people tend to remember everything else. And that pay per
Mhm.
view, just top to bottom, was a great wrestling pay per view. This
Absolutely.
Revolution is gonna give a lot more freaking memories. So
Yes. Revolution. One possibly the best match that I've seen.
yeah,
A couple of the best matches that I've seen. Brian Danielson and Eddie Kingston, fire.
a spot that I never want to see again. Darby.
It's God, yeah. Like you can't get that image out of your head.
That
Orange Cassidy and Roddy with that buckle, the
the
the,
backbreaker on the turnbuckle
the
thing.
backbreaker on the turnbuckle. Oh man,
Yeah.
there's so many things that you can just pick out to remember about that show. We're still talking about it. It's been a full week.
The
Um,
crazy thing is Orange Cassidy. It's for me, it was the way that he sold and like bounced out of that backbreaker on the turnbuckle because with the brainbuster that Takeshita hit on Osprey, where he hit like his liver spot, like on the back on the turnbuckle, the way his back ended up looking. But since he went straight down, it looked hella dangerous by comparison. But it's just the way like Orange Cassidy looked like Shawn Michaels flipping over ropes and stuff like off that backbreaker. It was crazy.
he sells so well. Oh, we're getting we're getting so much good wrestling, and we're gonna get. It's just gonna be constant good wrestling because we're gonna have this tag title tourney probably to keep us going all the way up until Dynasty. So we're gonna have weekly wrestling that's gonna be great. Weekly tag team wrestling gonna be great.
Which really makes me miss that while AEW's like just on fire right now, putting on great show after great show after great show. And when I say on fire, I'm not talking about that flaming table on Collision, but it really sucks that Ray Phoenix isn't there, that we're not going to get the full on Lucha Bros, considering like one of your introductions into AEW was them versus the
Yeah,
Bucks.
that yeah that match got me excited to watch more AEW. So I want more. I want my Lucha Bros. Ray Phoenix, hurry up, man. Hurry up. Get healthy. Get back. We need you.
But even
In
outside of
AEW, we do not need them as Ring of Honor tag team champions because that's not a real thing anymore. We
but
all
even
know it.
but even outside of like him and health and everything, it's just the fact that like remembering what the tag team matches can be in AEW and that they're gonna have this focus on it. So hopefully, getting away from some of the single stuff, which are single stars that are gonna be great and make the most out of their time on TV, and it's gonna be freaking awesome. But you sprinkle in some like top tier tag team matches in there every single week.
Yeah,
Looking forward to it.
because I'm down to watch FTR and Top Flight wrestle anybody.
I was gonna say,
I'm
yeah,
down to watch the Bucks wrestle everybody. I'm down to watch. I'm down to watch the Moxley Claudio team wrestle everybody.
Yeah. They have a number of teams that you know that you can put in the ring with anybody, and the match
Like,
is gonna be bare minimum good, if not
like,
great.
like any combination of the House of Black that also works for me.
You want to know what I never mentioned because it kind of flies underneath the radar? Who else did we just get back? But the bastard.
Oh yeah, yeah. Pack, pack. Pack is back, Mac. He's going further. So it looks like is his first match going to be Okada?
Dude,
I think that's what we're going for here.
well, it looks like they're doing a trios match.
Mm-hmm.
But after that, I don't
Kind
know
of have a
because
feeling the singles match will be him and Okada.
yeah, but will that be Okada has something kind of starting up with Eddie already?
With Ed.
So,
Oh yeah, that's right. He does have the Eddie already too. So, but I feel like him. I feel like Okada and Eddie is going to be dynasty.
but
So
you look,
maybe him and Pac can be something beforehand.
but you also look at like the history of beef. It could be Pac with Penta because that triangle having issues with the Bucks
Mhm.
again too.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So there we go.
Either way, there are like a dozen
Just
different singles wrestlers that could main event pay-per-views and put on like 6-star matches, and like three of them just showed up within like the last 2 weeks again. And you're gonna focus on tag team wrestling, and Orange Cassidy has been a workhorse on the lower levels for so long. It's like, oh my god, just I love it.
and we still have like there's still people that aren't healthy yet. Like we've still got guys like Adam Cole getting wheeled in every week, which kind of really hurts that group. Um, but we've got
There's an obvious one out there,
Kenny Omega sick still, getting
and
all summoned in as
clearly
well.
set up to face Okada again already.
Yeah,
Omega
yeah.
Okada 5, maybe all in. This has been one of the best like 3 weeks of AEW TV that I can remember in a long, long time.
Yeah, I'm watching every show now. I
So,
I hate to admit it, but I wasn't watching every show for a little while. Like I would skip through Rampage and Collision, but I actually am watching all 5 hours of AEW lately just because they've been on fire.
so let us know what you think. If you agree and love the direction AEW is going, leave a comment down below, and we'll talk to you soon.